Life Stace storytime part 16. So the social services had rung my mum and a partner about coming out to see them. Anyway, it was about a week later. I was at school when they actually went out to the house, and when I got home from school, I got told that we had to go to the hospital a bit later on that night. Well, I think it was about, must have been about 4:30, so I could have a medical. Anyway, so we drove to the hospital with my mum and her partner, and we've got in a room, and the doctor's desk was literally as you walk in the room, and there's 2 seats at the side. Anyway, there was 2 women social workers sat at the side, and I walked in with my mum and a partner, and the doctor said, "Oh, you've come for a medical." So I just nodded my head, and then they said, "Right, so what's wrong with your face?" I said I had a bruise on my leg, which was obviously really hard because I was with my mum and a partner, and I had to front it a little bit. But the bruise had gone because it'd been a substantial amount of time until we actually went to the hospital. Bruises don't last forever. And the social worker at the side said, "Oh, it's we've got misreports here. We thought it was something to do with your face." And I said, "No, I had a bruise on my leg." I said, "But it's gone." So the doctors looked at me, and the social workers looked at me, and they said, "Oh, I've got nothing to report here. You're free to go." So I've literally had to walk out of the room with my mum and a partner, and we've gone back home. And all that time, I actually felt like an idiot sat back in the back of the car, because I thought there was a bruise. Now there's not. I've just gone there, and they're saying there's nothing to report. And then I was thinking, right, if my foster sisters told my mum and dad she saw the bruise, they'll come and save me. Anyway, nothing happened. Social services didn't come after that. I realise now that they closed the case, but yeah, they didn't come after that. They kind of just took what my mum's boyfriend said as gospel, So from there, I kind of realised that was going to be that. There's nothing else I could possibly do. That was the situation that I was in. I'd spoken out and nothing came of it. My mum's boyfriend then continuously took it on amongst himself to keep calling me a liar. "Oh, you're going to ring the social services, you're a liar anyway." So that stemmed in my head then, that's what these people was thinking. And I knew I weren't lying. And I've gone to school, and my behaviours have started changing in school. I started being really naughty, not wanting to be in class, really withdrawing, not wanting to be around people, because when people think things of you, it kind of gets into your head. And when you know that if you've ever been accused of lying and you know you're not lying, it sits in your head. So I started getting sent out a lesson. I remember being sat near the front reception, and then there's a little desk just off online to the front bit where people walk through, and I was sat there. Anyway, next minute the receptionist comes over and she hands me a note, and it says, "Your dad will be picking you up from school." And I'm looking at this note, I'm like, my foster dad is coming for me, he's coming to get me. And I was honestly, I was so hyped for literally 30 seconds, and then it kind of dawned on me that they probably meant my mum's boyfriend and they've got it wrong. So I was just slumped back down in my chair, and then the bell went, and I've walked out of the school. I've walked through the schoolyard, I've gone down, and there was a pub facing the school, and I've gone to cross it's a main road, you've got a double crossing. So I've gone to cross the main road, and I've looked over to the pub thinking I was going to see my mum's boyfriend there. Next minute, I see a man, the man, with my sibling, walking over to get me. So I was really taken aback, because I'd not seen him since I went to Blackpool with him. So I've gone over, I've got in the car, my siblings in the back, got in the back, I've got in the front. No words were spoken to me, and then the car started driving, and literally we just pulled out of the pub car park, and a little tiny bit up the road, and there was traffic lights, so we stopped in the traffic lights, and the man literally turns round to me and goes, "Oh, I've heard you've been fucking going seeing that foster family of yours." I said, "I've seen my foster sister, yeah." "Well, let me tell you now, you won't be seeing them anymore." And he started threatening me and threatening them. If things couldn't get worse, you know, I just remember how I felt, because I was still clutching onto that bit of life that I had, you know, my old life. And with the threats and stuff, and I kind of knew his temper because I'd seen how he was, you know. Sorry, it just takes me back to being in that car. And we carried on driving, and he's took me to his house. Now we got in his house, and you walk through the door. His partner, who I really liked, she was at work. So there was a fish tank on the right hand side. You walk past the door on the left, and then you walk into the living room, which was like the middle room. Then you had the kitchen facing, and the TV was on the left hand side of the room, and the settees was on the right. And my sibling, he just sat on the settee and stuck cartoons on, so I sat next to him to watch the cartoons. I felt really uncomfortable sat there, because I knew I'd just been told off by someone that I barely knew, barely seen, and basically there was making sure that I wouldn't see my foster family anymore. And I knew that it would have been contacted off my mum's boyfriend, because he was also mentioning about me ringing social services, so I got in trouble for that as well. So at that time, like, I knew then that I wouldn't be able to see my foster sister anymore, and now I was kind of in this world where these two, like my mum's partner and the man, was like combining, you know, to make sure that I didn't see my foster family. And I was living scared, because I was scared of both of them, you know. So, and I just don't know how, like, the school didn't pick up on the signs, you know, the social services they just casually just left everything, do you know. And it takes a lot for a child to actually speak up in the first place. Do you know, I never planned to do it. I did it because my foster sister, you know, she urged me to, and I just thought I could be saved, you know, if I went back to their house. But yeah, that's story time part 16. Part 17 will be next. I'm so sorry guys, it is hard to relive. But enough love to every single one of you supporting me. Thank you.